It's Tuesday in Holy Week, and in these reflections we're following in the footsteps of Jesus to the cross, according to the Passion story in St. Luke's Gospel. Tonight, our reading is from Luke chapter 21, from verse 5 to verse 28.
Some of his disciples were remarking about how the temple was adorned with beautiful stones and with gifts dedicated to God. But Jesus said, "As for what you see here, the time will come when not one stone will be left on another. Every one of them will be thrown down." "Teacher," they asked, "when will these things happen? And what will be the sign that they are about to take place?" He replied, "Watch out that you are not deceived. For many will come in my name, claiming, 'I am he,' and the time is near. Do not follow them. When you hear of wars and revolutions, do not be frightened. These things must happen first, but the end will not come right away." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. But before all this, they will lay hands on you and persecute you. They will deliver you to synagogues and prisons. You will be brought before kings and governors, and all on account of my name. This will result in your being witnesses to them. But make up your mind not to worry beforehand how you will defend yourselves. For I will give you words and wisdom that none of your adversaries will be able to resist or contradict. You will be betrayed, even by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends, and they will put some of you to death. All men will hate you because of me, but not a hair on your head will perish. By standing firm, you will gain life. When you see Jerusalem being surrounded by armies, you will know that its desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those in the city get out, and let those in the country not enter the city. For this is the time of punishment, in fulfillment of all that has been written. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. There will be great distress in the land, and wrath against this people. They will fall by the sword, and will be taken as prisoners to all the nations. Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. On the earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. Men will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world, for the heavenly bodies will be shaken. At that time they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Horizons. For much of my adult life, I have lived near the sea, which holds a huge fascination, ever-changing, never restless, deep and mysterious. And when you look out at the sea, the limit of your sight is the horizon, a line beyond we cannot see, a beyond us boundary. Jesus and his followers are in the temple precincts in Jerusalem. The temple was one of the most iconic buildings in the world. It was an amazing sight. It was on the bucket lists of many first century people, a must-see, must-visit. Someone in the gathering drew attention to the magnificence of the temple. And Jesus responds with a different perspective. He speaks of three horizons: the beyond us boundaries that his hearers could not see, but that he saw. Horizon 1. Jesus is preparing his disciples that he will soon leave them. His departure. From the middle part of the Gospel according to St. Luke, Jesus has hinted and predicted what was going to happen to him in Jerusalem. Chapter 9 and verse 22 reads, Jesus says, "The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and chief priests and be killed, and on the third day be raised." The cross awaited Jesus much sooner than his disciples expected. What would it be like for them without Jesus? Well, here in this passage, Jesus spells it out in very graphic terms, verses 14 to 18, if you're following in your Bibles. Like me, Jesus says to them, you will be persecuted. You will be imprisoned. You will be betrayed. Even your loved ones will deliver you up. You will be hated by all for my name's sake. What a chilling prospect of life without Jesus. Horizon 2. The magnificent temple would at some future point be destroyed. Like the Twin Towers in New York, it would come tumbling down, not by an act of terrorism, but by a siege of surrounding armies who would trample the temple and the city and its people underfoot. 40 years after Jesus spoke these words, in 70 AD, Jerusalem was destroyed in a violent act of revenge by the Roman armies, and the temple toppled, never to be rebuilt. You can walk amid the rubble of the stones today. The temple was gone for good. And Horizon 3. At some future point, Jesus, the Son of Man, would come back to earth. Verse 27, you will see him coming with power and great glory. There would be a cosmic convulsion as never witnessed before, as Jesus comes again to judge the earth and to hold us all to account. 3 horizons. The Christian faith is a way of seeing hidden truths about life. The writer to the Hebrews in the New Testament says this in chapter 11, verse 2, by faith we understand. For those first followers of Jesus, the horizon of the cross was a calamity which became a victory. A place of death became the gateway to life. A place of shame became the ground of hope. A place of suffering became the healing of the nations. Do you see it? Have you embraced the cross where Jesus died for you and for me? When we look around the world of March 2020, things are falling apart. The world is in the grip of the coronavirus. All the settled things have been disturbed. Little is left standing as markets and businesses and jobs come tumbling down. The familiar has gone, stripped away in a matter of days and weeks. What can we hold on to at this time? Jesus and his words. They remain true. He is reliable. He is a sure foundation for us to rebuild our lives amid the rubble of these days. And if the coronavirus has been a shock to the world, it will pale into insignificance with the cosmic convulsion when Jesus returns to earth to put things right. And in order to put things right, wrongs must be righted. And that will be extremely unpleasant. The Christian faith holds that the world is heading towards that point of the second coming of Jesus Christ, the end of history. I wonder, will we be on the right side of history? Horizons.
Beneath the cross of Jesus, I find a place to stand and wonder at such mercy that calls me as I am. For hands that should discard me hold wounds which tell me come. Beneath the cross of Jesus, my unworthy soul is won. Beneath the cross of Jesus, his family is my own. Once strangers chasing selfish dreams, now one through grace alone. How could I now dishonor the ones that you have loved? Beneath the cross of Jesus, see the children called by God. Beneath the cross of Jesus, the path before the crown, we follow in his footsteps where promised hope is found. How great the joy before us to be his perfect bride. Beneath the cross of Jesus, we will gladly live our lives.